They told you it was just age, that losing your edge in the bedroom, in your energy, in your confidence, was something every man over 60 had to accept. But they were wrong. Because just last year, a 91-year-old man walked into my office and told me he hadn't felt this alive in decades. He didn't take pills. He didn't go through surgery. All he did was eat the right 7 foods before bed. My name is Dr. James. I've been a physician specializing in men's health for over 3 decades. In that time, I've helped thousands of men in their 60s, 70s, and even 80s reclaim the strength they thought they'd lost forever, naturally, safely, and without shame. What I'm about to share may surprise you, because it goes against everything we've been told about aging. See, most people believe snacks at night are bad for you, but science and stories from hundreds of my older patients tell a different story. When you eat specific foods at the right time, you're not just fueling your body, you're unlocking it. Tonight, I'll walk you through the 7 exact bedtime snacks that may help restore blood flow, support testosterone, and bring back the power and intimacy that age never truly takes away. And before we begin, I'll warn you, one of these foods, if eaten the wrong way, can do more harm than good. I'll show you what it is and how to avoid it, coming up in just a moment. Before we jump in, if you haven't already, go ahead and hit that subscribe button and turn on the bell. That way you won't miss any of these health insights made specifically for men in their golden years. And if you're finding this helpful so far, type 1 in the comments. If not, type 0. I truly want to know how I can serve you better. All right, let's get into it. The first snack on this list might seem simple, but it's one of the most powerful natural boosters for circulation I've ever seen. And if firmer, more dependable performance is what you're after, this is where it all begins. Let me introduce you to the surprising power of tart cherries. Snack 1. Tart cherries, nature's circulation booster. I still remember the first time I had this conversation with a patient named Bill. He was 68, recently retired, and visibly frustrated. "Doc," he told me, "I've tried the pills, I've tried the powders, but nothing feels natural anymore. I just want to feel like me again." That night, instead of handing him another prescription, I asked a different question. "What are you eating before bed?" What followed was a conversation that would change everything. Because as strange as it might sound, one of the simplest, most overlooked answers to better performance lies in a small, ruby-red fruit, tart cherries. Now, I'm not talking about the sweet kind you bake in a pie. I mean real tart cherries, like the ones you'd find dried or as a concentrated juice. They're packed with something called anthocyanins, which are powerful natural compounds that help open up blood vessels and support nitric oxide production. And nitric oxide, my friend, is the key that unlocks blood flow, especially the kind that matters when you want to feel strong and reliable again. It helps your blood vessels relax, allowing blood to move freely where it needs to go. Without enough nitric oxide, even the strongest desire can't translate into real, physical results. I've seen men in their 70s start adding a handful of dried tart cherries to their nighttime routine, or sipping 4 ounces of pure tart cherry juice before bed, and within weeks they're reporting deeper sleep, stronger mornings, and a confidence they hadn't felt in years. And here's something fascinating. Tart cherries are also a natural source of melatonin, the sleep hormone. So not only are you improving circulation, but you're also setting your body up for deeper, more restorative rest. And better sleep equals better testosterone, better mood, and better everything, really. Bill came back to me 6 weeks later, smiling from ear to ear. He said, "I don't know what magic is in those little cherries, Doc, but my wife told me to thank you." That's the kind of win I live for. No side effects, no pharmacy, just a piece of nature doing exactly what it was designed to do. But here's the thing, while cherries help open the door, they're just the start of this journey. Because if you really want to keep that strength, not just for a night, but night after night, then you need to look at what's happening on the inside. Specifically, what's fueling your testosterone levels quietly behind the scenes. And that's where the next snack comes in. One that's small, crunchy, and packs a mineral punch most men don't even realize they're missing. If you're still here and this is resonating with you, go ahead and type the number 1 in the comments. It lets me know you're still with me and finding value in what we're sharing. All right, let's keep going and take a look at the next powerful snack. Snack 2, pumpkin seeds, testosterone's best friend. There's something about getting older that humbles you. You start noticing small changes that quietly creep in. Less energy in the morning, slower recovery after activity, and in some cases, a certain disconnect when it matters most behind closed doors. For many men, it's not just about performance, but about feeling like themselves again. I hear this in my clinic almost daily, and each time I come back to one word: testosterone. When your testosterone is strong and steady, everything else starts to feel better. Your confidence, your motivation, your intimacy, even the way you walk into a room. But as we age, our testosterone levels tend to dip. Not suddenly, but gradually, silently. And what makes this worse is that most men are also missing the very minerals their bodies need to support that testosterone naturally. That's where pumpkin seeds come in. Humble, unassuming, and surprisingly powerful. Just 2 tablespoons a night can deliver a potent dose of zinc and magnesium, 2 of the most important nutrients for male hormone health. Zinc, in particular, is vital for testosterone production. It's like the spark plug in your hormonal engine. Without it, everything slows down. I'll never forget my patient Henry, 73, proud Navy veteran, not one to complain. But during one appointment, he admitted he'd been feeling flat. Not sad exactly, just off. He wasn't sleeping well, felt sluggish. And he said something I'll never forget. It's like I'm watching my life instead of living it. After some blood work, we found his zinc was low and his testosterone wasn't far behind. I had him start a simple nightly routine: 2 tablespoons of raw pumpkin seeds about an hour before bed. That's it. Within 3 weeks, his energy started picking up. Within 6, his sleep improved, his mood lifted, and, in his words, things started working again. It's amazing what a small food can do when it gives your body exactly what it's been asking for. And the beauty is, there are no prescriptions involved, no side effects, just a natural, time-tested way to support the core of your masculinity. Pumpkin seeds are easy to find, affordable, and don't require any cooking. Add a pinch of sea salt if you'd like, or toss them into a little yogurt or a small salad if you're feeling fancy. But the most important thing is consistency. A few spoonfuls a night can go a long way in helping your body remember what strength feels like. Now, you might be wondering, if something this small can help restore your edge, what could happen if you combined it with a food so rich in rare nutrients, your body only needs 1 bite to feel the difference? That's exactly what we're about to explore next. And trust me, it's one snack you do not want to overlook. Snack 3. Brazil nuts, the selenium powerhouse. Sometimes the smallest changes bring the biggest surprises. I once had a patient named Carl, 74 years old, retired electrician, proud grandfather of 6. Carl was the kind of guy who could fix anything with his hands, but he came to me because something inside just wasn't working like it used to. His energy was dragging, his drive was low, and he told me almost embarrassed that he felt like he was running on fumes. He wasn't sad, he was just tired of feeling like a faded version of himself. We ran a few simple tests and found something I see far too often in older men: his selenium levels were low. Now, selenium isn't something most people think about. It's not a flashy nutrient, but it's essential, especially for men, because it plays a critical role in testosterone production, thyroid function, and even sperm quality. Think of it like a behind-the-scenes worker that keeps the whole system running smoothly. And here's the kicker. Your body doesn't need much of it, just the right amount. That's where Brazil nuts come in. Brazil nuts are one of nature's richest sources of selenium. Just 1 or 2 of these nuts a day can give your body the perf. CT dose. Not too little, not too much, just right. It's like flipping a switch your body forgot it had. Carl didn't need convincing. He started having 2 Brazil nuts each evening right after dinner. That was it. Nothing fancy, no supplements, no complicated routines. A month later, he came back for a checkup and said, "I don't know what's in those nuts, doc, but I'm waking up ready to take on the day. And the nights are better too." His labs backed it up. Testosterone levels were up, thyroid markers were healthier, and for the first time in a while, he looked proud of the man in the mirror. It's a reminder that food isn't just fuel, it's information. When we give our bodies the right message, they know what to do. And Brazil nuts send a message of strength, stability, and balance. Just be careful not to overdo it. 1 or 2 a day is perfect. More than that, and you risk getting too much selenium, and in this case, more doesn't mean better. But while selenium supports the system and zinc helps fuel it, the real magic happens when you protect your body through the night, keeping your muscles strong, your hormones balanced, and your metabolism quietly humming while you sleep. So what do you eat before bed that can literally help you rebuild your strength while you rest? It's creamy, it's old-fashioned, and it's something your grandmother might have had in the fridge. Let's take a look. If you're still watching and these insights are striking a chord, type the number 1 in the comments to let me know you're here and engaged. All right, let's keep it going and move into point number 4. Snack. 4. Cottage cheese with cinnamon, sleep and strength combo. There's something deeply comforting about the foods we grew up with. The ones our parents or grandparents used to keep in the fridge. Cottage cheese is one of those for me. I remember my father, who worked the night shift for years, always had a small bowl of it before bed. He'd sit quietly at the kitchen table, sprinkle just a little cinnamon on top and say, "This helps me sleep and keeps me strong." As a kid, I didn't think much of it, but as a doctor, I've come to understand just how right he was. Cottage cheese might not be trendy, but it's quietly powerful. It's packed with casein, a slow-digesting protein that helps feed your muscles all night long. For men in their 60s and beyond, maintaining muscle mass isn't just about strength, it's about hormones, stability, energy, and even metabolism. As testosterone naturally declines with age, our bodies need extra support to hold on to lean muscle. Cottage cheese does that gently, steadily, without spiking blood sugar or disrupting sleep. And then there's cinnamon, not just for flavor, but for function. Cinnamon helps regulate blood sugar, improve insulin sensitivity, and support the balance of hormones. It's also rich in antioxidants and can quietly reduce inflammation throughout the body, which becomes more important with every passing year. One of my longtime patients, George, a retired carpenter with hands like sandpaper and a heart of gold, once told me that he hadn't slept through the night in over 5 years. I suggested something simple: half a cup of cottage cheese with a light dusting of cinnamon an hour before bed. A week later, he called me and said, "Doc, I didn't just sleep, I dreamed. I woke up feeling rested for the first time in forever." He started doing it every night, and not long after, he noticed something else. He felt stronger, not just in his body, but in his sense of self. He said he wasn't waking up feeling drained or anxious anymore. He was starting the day with calm, with clarity, all from a humble bowl of cottage cheese. It's a reminder that sometimes we don't need complicated solutions. We just need the right ones. The ones that work with our biology, not against it. When you sleep well, your body restores testosterone naturally. It regulates cortisol, balances your mood, and sets the stage for performance in every sense of the word. Now, we've talked about protein, minerals, and natural hormone support. But what if I told you there's a fruit, yes, a fruit, that's been treasured for thousands of years as a symbol of male vitality? It's bold, it's juicy, and it holds a secret most men never discover. Let's uncover that next. Snack 5. Pomegranate seeds, the ancient libido fruit. Some foods come with a kind of myth around them, a history that stretches back centuries, whispered about in old texts and ancient traditions. Pomegranate is one of those foods. In Greek mythology, it was tied to passion and fertility. In ancient Persia, it was seen as a symbol of strength and renewal. And in modern science, It's turning heads for a very different reason, because what it can do for a man's vitality is nothing short of remarkable. I remember a patient of mine named Walter. He was 69, sharp as a tack, and fiercely independent. But over time, he'd started feeling disconnected, not just physically, but emotionally too. "I still love my wife," he told me, "but it feels like we're roommates these days. I want more, not just for her, but for me." We talked about diet, exercise, stress, and then I asked him if he'd ever tried pomegranate. He chuckled and said, "Isn't that the fruit with all the little red jewels inside?" "Yes," I told him, "and those little red jewels are loaded with something powerful. Antioxidants that increase blood flow, reduce inflammation, and most importantly for men like Walter, support healthy testosterone levels." Pomegranate has been studied in men for its impact on libido and hormone health, and the results are exciting. In one clinical study, daily intake of pomegranate juice increased salivary testosterone by up to 24%, naturally. No synthetic hormones, just a fruit doing what it's been doing for thousands of years. I had Walter start with half a cup of fresh pomegranate seeds every night, or about 4 ounces of unsweetened juice when seeds weren't available. Within 2 weeks, he told me his energy had shifted. Within a month, he and his wife were going for evening walks again. He said, "Doc, I feel awake, like something got turned back on." And that's the magic of this fruit. It doesn't force the body, it reminds the body. It encourages circulation, brings down oxidative stress, and sends the signal that vitality isn't gone. It's just been waiting for the right invitation to return. Pomegranate is more than a snack. It's an offering to yourself, a reminder that strength and connection can still be yours, no matter your age. It's sweet, it's bold, and it's easy to add to your nightly routine. You can eat it fresh, drink it, or mix it with other foods on this list. But however you take it, just know it's working on more than just your body. It's restoring something deeper. And speaking of restoration, what if I told you there's a form of chocolate that doesn't just satisfy your sweet tooth, but actually helps support your performance, your pleasure, and your blood flow? All at once? It's not the chocolate you're thinking of. Let's talk about it next. Snack 6. Dark chocolate, 85% less, for pleasure and performance. When most people think of chocolate, they think of candy bars, sweet indulgences, maybe even a guilty pleasure. But the truth is, real chocolate, the dark, rich kind that's packed with pure cacao, is something entirely different. In fact, it might be one of the most underrated health allies for men, especially when it comes to performance, energy, and even emotional connection. I had a patient once, Thomas, 71 years old, soft-spoken and thoughtful. He came to me not with a complaint, but with a quiet curiosity. "Doc," he said, "my wife and I have been married for 43 years and I love her more now than ever. But I just don't feel like I can show that the way I used to." That kind of vulnerability takes strength. And I told him, "You're not alone. But I've got something you probably haven't tried, and you might just enjoy it." That night, I handed him a small square of 85% dark chocolate and told him to eat it after dinner, slowly, like he was savoring a moment. Why? Because high-quality dark chocolate isn't just food, it's fuel. It's rich in flavonols, natural compounds that help relax blood vessels, boost circulation, and enhance nitric oxide levels in the body. That means better blood flow, everywhere it counts. But that's only part of the story. Dark chocolate also triggers the release of dopamine, the feel-good hormone. It lifts your mood, reduces stress, and creates a sense of emotional openness. For many men, especially later in life, that emotional connection can be just as important as physical strength. It's about presence, intimacy, feeling like yourself again. Thomas came back 2 weeks later with a little grin. "I've been having a piece every night," he said. "Not only do I sleep better, but we're laughing more, touching more. It's like the spark is back, and it started with chocolate." That's the kind of outcome no prescription can promise. Of course, not all chocolate is created equal. You want 85% cacao or higher. The darker, the better. Skip anything with added sugars, caramel, or milk. A small square is enough. Think of it not as dessert, but as a tool, a delicious, ancient, surprisingly effective tool to help your body do what it was always meant to do. It's amazing how something so simple can be both a pleasure and a remedy, a reminder that you're not past your prime, you're just rediscovering your rhythm. And speaking of rhythm, what if I told you there's a small green fruit, often overlooked, light and tart, that could help you sleep deeper, restore testosterone, and wake up feeling stronger, all in one bite? You've probably walked past it 100 times without knowing what it could do, but after this, you'll never see it the same way again. Let's talk about it. Snack 7. Kiwi, the sleep enhancer. It's funny how some of the most powerful things in life come in small, unassuming packages. That's exactly how I think of kiwi. It's not flashy, you don't see commercials about it, it's not the kind of fruit people get excited about at the grocery store. But this little green powerhouse might just be the missing piece in your nightly routine, especially if you're struggling with sleep, energy, or that sense of reset your body used to do on its own. I had a patient named Harold, 66 years old, who came to me after his third night in a row of barely sleeping. He wasn't depressed and he wasn't in pain. He just couldn't shut his mind off at night. He told me he would lay in bed, tired but restless, tossing and turning, and then waking up feeling like he hadn't slept at all. That poor sleep was draining everything: his motivation, his patience, even his performance in ways he didn't want to admit out loud. We'd already talked about the usual suspects: caffeine, screen time, stress. But then I asked him to try something simple. Have 2 kiwis about an hour before bed, I said. Every night. Don't change anything else. He looked at me like I was kidding. 2 kiwis? I nodded. Every night. What Harold didn't know was that kiwi is loaded with natural serotonin, which helps regulate your sleep cycle. It also contains antioxidants that reduce inflammation, and folate, a vitamin that many older adults are low in, which can also impact mood and rest. In clinical studies, people who ate 2 kiwis before bed fell asleep faster, slept longer, and had better sleep quality overall. After 2 weeks, Harold walked into my office looking sharper, more rested, lighter somehow. "Doc," he said, "I'm sleeping like I haven't in years, and I'm waking up with energy, real energy." He said he even felt more motivated to exercise again, more present with his wife. He wasn't just sleeping, he was recovering. Sleep is the foundation of everything. Without it, testosterone drops, cortisol spikes, blood pressure rises, and those off days start stacking up. But when you sleep deeply, everything improves: your hormones, your mood, your focus, and yes, your performance too. Kiwi helps unlock that rest in the gentlest, most natural way. It doesn't sedate you. It simply supports the natural rhythm your body has been trying to get back to. It's one of the easiest things to try, and one of the most rewarding when you stick with it. But here's the truth. As powerful as kiwi is, it doesn't work alone. Neither does chocolate, or Brazil nuts, or cherries. The real breakthrough happens when you bring them together. When you combine the right foods in the right amounts at the right time, that's when the results truly begin to unfold. And in just a moment, I'll show you exactly how to do that, because this is where everything comes together. 8. But here's the secret. It's the combination that works. Over the years, I've learned something simple but powerful. The human body doesn't respond to magic bullets. It responds to rhythm, to routine, to patterns of care that over time bring the system back into balance. And that's why the real secret to lasting energy, strong performance, and vibrant health isn't just in one food, it's in how the right ones come together. Each of the 7 bedtime snacks we've talked about plays a different role. Tart cherries help with circulation. Pumpkin seeds provide the minerals your hormones depend on. Brazil nuts feed your thyroid and testosterone. Cottage cheese supports muscle and recovery. Pomegranate energizes your blood and boosts vitality. Dark chocolate enhances blood flow and mood. And kiwi gives you the deep, healing sleep your body craves. But on their own, they're just parts of a puzzle. It's when you begin combining them thoughtfully, consistently, and with care that everything starts to shift. I think back to a man named Joe, one of my patients from a few years ago. He was 72, a former mechanic, sharp as ever but frustrated with how he felt. "I've still got drive," he said, "but the engine just doesn't turn over like it used to." Instead of giving him another supplement, I gave him a plan. A simple evening routine using these exact foods. Just a handful here, a small serving there. Nothing overwhelming, no drastic changes. Just a calm, natural pattern to end each night with intention. After 6 weeks, he came in and said, "It's like my body remembered who it was." That stuck with me, because that's what these combinations do. They help your body remember how to be strong, how to sleep deeply, how to show up again with presence and power. There's nothing artificial here. No quick fixes, no expensive prescriptions, just food, real food, working in harmony with your body's own design. That's where the magic lives, not in extremes, but in consistency. And once this routine becomes part of your rhythm, your body responds. Because it wants to be strong, it wants to recover, it just needs the right signals. So if you've ever felt like your best days are behind you, I want to offer you something better than hope. I want to offer you proof that change is still possible. Strength is still possible. Intimacy, connection, confidence, all of it is still within reach. Now, you may be wondering, what happens if you actually commit to this? If you follow these simple steps night after night, what might you feel in a week, in a month? What could shift in your energy, your sleep, your relationships? Let's pull it all together now and talk about how to turn these small, nightly actions into real, lasting transformation. Final thoughts. It's never too late. I've sat across from hundreds of men over the years, men in their 60s, 70s, even their 90s, and I've seen the same quiet look in their eyes. It's not always fear. Often it's disappointment. A sense that time has taken something they didn't know how to hold on to. Strength, vitality, connection. And every time I see that look, I lean in and tell them the truth. It's not too late. Not even close. Because what we've walked through in this video isn't theory. It's real. It's simple, natural, and rooted in how the male body actually works. You've learned about tart cherries and how they open up blood flow and improve circulation. You've seen how pumpkin seeds and Brazil nuts deliver the exact minerals your body needs to support testosterone, balance hormones, and rebuild what time has worn down. You've heard how cottage cheese, cinnamon, and kiwi help your body rest and recover, and how dark chocolate and pomegranate give back the spark, physically and emotionally. But what matters most isn't the science behind each food. It's what they represent when they're brought together, a nightly ritual that tells your body, you still matter, you're still strong, and you deserve to feel alive again. You don't need to do everything at once. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to begin. Add one of these snacks tonight, maybe 2. Listen to how your body responds. Notice how you feel when you wake up. Maybe a little more rested, a bit clearer, stronger even. And then do it again, night after night, gently, without pressure. Let it become your rhythm. And don't just do it for performance. Do it for your peace of mind. Do it for the version of yourself that still wants to wake up with purpose, that still wants to show up fully in your relationships, that still wants to feel like the man you remember and the man you still are. I can't tell you how many times I've heard the words, "I thought it was just age." But aging doesn't mean fading. It doesn't mean giving up your spark. And it certainly doesn't mean settling. Not when you have tools this simple, this natural, and this effective right in front of you. So wherever you are right now, whether you're feeling hopeful, skeptical, or somewhere in between, I want you to know there is a path forward, a path that doesn't rely on pills or procedures, but on your body's own intelligence. A path that begins not with big changes, but with small, consistent choices. 1 bowl of cherries, 1 square of dark chocolate, 1 good night's sleep. Because it's never too late to feel strong again. It's never too late to surprise yourself. And if you start tonight, someday your best days might not be behind you. They might be just ahead. Before we wrap up, I want to take a moment to speak directly to you, man to man. If this video gave you something to think about or maybe even reminded you of what's still possible, I'd like to ask you for a small favor. It takes just a few seconds, but it means the world to me, and it helps more than you might imagine. Go ahead and hit that like button if you found this helpful. Not because of numbers or algorithms, but because when you do, it tells YouTube this message is worth sharing with other men who may be silently struggling. Men who, like you, still want to feel strong, still want to love fully, still want to show up for the people who matter. And if you know someone, a brother, a friend, a neighbor, a veteran from your bowling league who might benefit from this, please share this video with them. One message like this can change the course of someone's week, or maybe even their life. You never know who needs to hear it until they do. If there's a part of this that spoke to you, a snack you're going to try, a result you're hoping for, or a story that reminded you of yourself, let me know in the comments below. I read every single one. And if you just want to say I'm in, type that. If you have questions, don't hold back. This is a space for you. A space for honest conversations, support, and encouragement. And of course, if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel and turn on the bell. I've got more insights, tips, and real stories coming that are made just for men like you, because this journey doesn't end here. Thanks for watching, thanks for showing up, and remember, you're stronger than you think, and it's never too late to take that first step forward.